Nancy Locascio.
I just have a couple of questions that were items that were on the agenda. Agenda H5, that increment and salary adjustment restored. Resolved that upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the increment and salary adjustment be restored for 2010-11 school year for tenured employees. Names on file in the board secretary's office. Is there like a dollar figure attached to that the public to know without filing an OSHA request? Over request?
There's a number of thousands of dollars that will go to school income this court. The income was withheld, basically, our income was held for approximately 2 years or 3 years. And the board didn't cover themselves as a recommendation to restore the income. I think the exact figure would be, that's going to be tonight.
I understand. Well, can you add to my list of questions then, is this person a current employee of the district?
Yes.
Okay. Item K5, $4,000 for the JSA trip. It was about 70 kids or something like that from 3 different high schools that are getting about $4,000 from the board, which is so awesome and so great, and all know me well enough to know that I'm all about spending money on many kids to go to great events like this. But I'm also a proud member of a drummer in the Polson High School band, and in all the years that they've gone on trips, the board has not seen fit to be so generous to them. And I know we can argue back and forth about it's an extracurricular follow-up, but band is now part of the curriculum. And part of that being a high-achieving band and getting kids to be involved in the band and all that good stuff means going away to competitions. And I just want to understand, this becomes my question, I just want to understand the board's rationale for saying we're going to give $4,000 to these students from these 3 different schools to go represent our school for something that's not in the curriculum. It's, you know, a volunteer, wonderful organization for the kids, and then not to something that's part of the curriculum when kids day. So that's my question. And my third question is one I've asked before. I realize that you are going to approve an advising position at one of the high schools tonight as part of your agenda. I've asked before about job descriptions for advisors. I know that you have on file job descriptions for coaches, all schools do. But in these tough economic times, I think it's only fair that we say, okay, if you're going to be, you know, I'm just going to pull out examples off the top of my head, you know, advisor for the newspaper, how many newspapers are you going to produce, how many kids are going to be involved, how many meetings are you going to have every year after school. We can't just willy-nilly keep approving $4,000, $3,000 here or there for these advising positions without job descriptions for them. So my question is, again, when will we see job descriptions for advisors? That's it.
Let's finish up the list. Cindy O'Brien.
Hi, Cindy O'Brien, Colson. I just wanted to know if you could give us an update on your superintendent search. I saw that you had a number of meetings, and we were hoping to get some information as to where we stand and what the timeline is looking like.
Okay. Let's go back over the...
I'm sorry, can I just follow up question? It was just brought to my attention that the generous JSA money that you gave away went to quite a few schools, but not Polson High School. So that would be another question. Why some schools get the money and then others? Polson, listen.
You do?
Excuse me?
Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay.
We have members in the audience tonight.
Okay. There's one for Mrs. Close. Mrs. Close asked if the assistant principal salary would be prorated, and Dr. Cagle would be.
His salary was prorated from the time that he resigned. That was the time that it went back to his teacher's salary, and it would remain there until December 1st, when he would be, he's getting the assistant principal, and that's when he'll pick up that salary. So it is prorated over that time period.
How much do we pay the long-term sub? That would be.
I don't have that. It's usually the first step of the teacher's guide.
Okay, I think the next questions we had were from Mrs. Ocasio.
Mr. Wilson, you forgot my other question. I just wanted to, I did ask whether there was a conflict of interest on the vote taken by Mr. Bruno during that vice principal coach decision.
Not that I'm aware of, and not that, no, not at all. Okay, this is Ocasio questions.
Mr. Ocasio, as far as rating goes, the individual who doesn't get the money back when it's withheld, just to put on the step that he or she would be on had he never lost the income. So although there's an increase in the salary, there's no retroactive money that goes. I'm sure you're aware of that, right?
I am.
I can answer. The job descriptions for the advisors, we do have a job description for them, and we've had one for many years. The board president just asked that we would put them on the website, and that we'll put them up there to see them.
Can you just clarify, so that means for each and every individual advisor of clubs, anybody that you as a board pay money to, you have a specific job description for them?
We have a job description for all of the advisors.
I understand, that's not what I'm asking for. I don't want to, this is an advisor, they do this. I want, you're the yearbook advisor, what do you specifically do?
No, if you're an advisor, this is what you do. It's the same that we have for, it's not the same one, but we have a boilerplate job description for teachers as well.
I understand.
Now, because if you teach one subject and that's different from another, it's not a specific one. The same as with advisors.
I understand. You may recall I'm a board member of another district, and we have found that in order to be accountable and transparent to our public, that it makes more sense to be able to say, this is our yearbook advisor, for example, and these are the things that we require of this person, and that's why they're asking you, the public, to support us paying them this dollar figure. And that's just what I'm asking you to do. Because, times are tough. We've all heard about it. We're back to proof, and I'm just going to pull it out of the top of my hat, but almost, I think, $3,000 or $4,000 for an advisor. And I just want to know what the job descriptions are for the advisors specifically. I think at this time when we are paying some money, we need to know that they do it because there's no accountability for it. There's no evaluation for these advisors.
Each of the clubs, there are evaluations for the advisors.
So then there must be some sort of thing that
there
has to be something to hold them accountable to them.
Each of the club and activities have a description, have a vision of what the club or the activity is about. And they do get evaluated at the end of each of the seasons.
And that's the responsibility of the CEO.
Yes.
I think the point that Mrs. Ocasio makes, though, is a good one.
It's very good.
As far as base accountability, here is what we would like to see you accomplish. Not only for your $3,000 or $4,000, but in the best interest of the kids who, put their time into these clubs. And it puts us on more solid ground too. Here's what we expect. If you can't do it, next year we'll find somebody who can. So let's put it on our calendars to, get a little more granularity in those job descriptions so you can specify, we're going to produce 1,500 school newspapers or whatever number it is. And in each case, let's have something that we can hold accountable.
Yeah, just the other question that you had, Mrs. Ocasio, was the JSA trip. And I think we talk about advisors, we talk about the JSA trip. We talk about a gentleman with a transportation issue who he and I had a number of conversations. We've always been in a position where we've been able to do a lot of things. We can no longer accommodate all of the needs and wants of the community, not only for this year, but going forward. It's going to become more and more difficult to do that. So part of that process, and specific to the athletics and activities budget, is that I'm working with the SEEKers to develop, pro forma models to say, here's what the program is going to look like, and certain specific criteria as to what will receive what level of funding from the district and what will be funded in alternate ways, as the board has discussed. So we're in the process of really drilling down on that to understand exactly what the scope of the programs are that we'll be offering in the future. And I think that's part of when you say how many editions is the newspaper going to issue, that's part of that analysis. So I think the point is well taken, and I think we'll see more of that as we develop the budget for 11-12.
And our last question was regarding our ongoing superintendent search. And I'll try not to step over the bounds here. We have indeed interviewed 8 candidates. We are at a point where we have narrowed it down to 4. Those 4 will be going through further evaluation and visitation with our district administrators over the course of the coming 2 weeks. Building principals and assistant principals, central office administrators, at which point we're going to narrow it down hopefully to 2 candidates. We have a public session scheduled for November 4th.
Yes.
No, we have a board meeting scheduled.
It's the board meeting.
First and second, and then scheduled.
Okay, I'm sorry, yes, right. Oh, thank you. Either the evening of the 1st, November 1st, or November 2nd, those final 2, maybe 3, will be available for a public session at which they will each make a presentation. November 1st and or 2nd.
November 2nd is election.
The public will be given the opportunity to formulate questions, write them down. Someone will be here to ask the questions of the candidates. Note that the 1st and or 2nd is not a board meeting. So whether or not board members will be here, I can't say. But the candidates will, whether we've narrowed it down to 2 or 3. They will accept written questions from members of the public for probably, I'm guessing, maybe a half an hour each tops. They will make a presentation on their own behalf. And at that point, we will have the results of our interviews, the results of the administrative visitations, and hopefully those members of the public who ask questions will notify us of their feelings regarding the responses. They can do that either through email to Mr. Boyce's office, Dr. Kegler's office. My email, I'm sure, is no secret. Anybody, you can let us know what you think.
And there will be opportunity to be back after.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I'm sure most of them will come there, so they're safe. It's not supposed to.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Mr. Wilson, would it be possible if you don't schedule it? Because that is a big election. Like election, outside election.
Oh, I know. I
You
mean,
make like the 1st or the 3rd,
well,
if it's possible.
it's going to be we've got too many individual schedules, and I mean, frankly, it's a midterm election. Well, yeah, I understand. You could slip over here. Yeah, don't the polls close at 8?
Yeah, but we never do. We saw.
Oh, it's the party, so.